everyone, Chloe here. I just wanted to jump in on this Sunday to give some much needed perspective on B. Smith and her husband Dan Gasby. And this has been a while in the making. I've been reading the comments and looking at different videos, and it's a very sad and unfortunate situation. And sidebar, shout out to YouTuber Paris Milan for not only being the first to report this incredible story, but for also doing her due diligence in just bringing this tragic but much needed conversation and cautionary tale for women to the forefront. So with that being said, let's get into Dan the false man Gasby. Clearly this man's vitriol for his wife is a cause for concern, but hypergamous wise, I wanted to make this video to get to the heart of what's truly eating this man. And what's truly eating Dan is his rage, and how he's wearing it with a mask. We all know that all males are not men, and clearly an overlooked part of this story is the power of good old fashioned slow boil resentment. This story is about a marriage and a 27-year marriage, and is about the overflow of 27 years in the making. And in Dan's weak, delusional mind, the now 64-year-old sees himself as a victim. But what's interesting is he's also highly invested in painting himself as the victim. He sees himself as someone who has paid the price of living in the shadows of his wife's success. So, in his mind, his current state of mind, he feels this is a long time coming. He feels that this is owed to him, his ability to be his own man and to stand in his truth, however skewered the truth may be. Now, none of us are strangers to sustained resentment. It can be quite powerful to hold on to feelings of anger and, rage. And, it can be kind of hard to express those feelings to even people that we love. But I wanted to highlight the point that, these types of animosity, feelings, they don't happen overnight. So the funny thing about resentment is that it doesn't start off as intentional. I'm sure when Dan Gasby first met B. Smith, he was completely smitten, attracted to her undeniable beauty, her intelligence, her ambition, her drive, her independence, and her success. To be able to marry and make love to a woman who can be and pretty much do it all at first seems to be an attractive experience for many men, a lucrative experience, particularly for an opportunistic man, and a dream life because of what financial success brings. Financial stability, the clothes, the houses, the cars, the travels, the elevated status. For many men, the idea of marrying a woman who can provide for herself, especially at a high level, seems to have many advantages, and that is until that man feels like a child and ends up paying the ultimate price with his masculinity. And I think that's what I wanted to jump on this video and express. Women, we need to quite frankly understand that a man's masculinity is pretty fragile, and it is very clear to me that Dan Gasby was never the co-pilot he imagined he would be in his marriage. He was never able to build his own, have his own, or be in the driver's seat. You know, um, let's be clear. Dan clearly resents his living wife. But I want you to understand this level of resentment, this level of public resentment. It just doesn't happen overnight. What you're seeing now is a boil over. What you're seeing now is years and years of feeling insignificant and years of powerlessness erupting. B. Smith's marriage is a hypergamous example of what happens when you marry a man that isn't at your level or higher. In order for a man to feel like a man, he needs his own ladies. So, in the beginning, many men will say that they don't mind a driven, successful, and ambitious woman, but when they pay the price with their masculinity, we all know all hell's gonna break loose, and a man will, he will spend your money on other women to impress them. A man will cheat, and ultimately, a broken man, essentially a child, will pretty much do anything to restore his masculinity and preserve his ego. Now, I'm pretty sure that this isn't Dan Gasby's first time being unfaithful because, quite frankly, he's very comfortable with his public disrespect of his wife, who is suffering from the deteriorating disorder of Alzheimer's and dementia. And, many women are wondering, why is Dan being so publicly disrespectful? You know, Many of us are wondering, why does he feel the need to publicly debase his wife and show her in a less than flattering light? And, with the Facebook posts, the public Facebook posts, the social media rounds, the Dr. Oz and Washington Post interviews, and he's really making a case to defend the indefensible. And I'm going to go back to this, ladies, and say, because in his mind, he truly does see himself as a victim. And now he finally gets to be in the driver's seat. This is the shift that Dan is experiencing within himself. The tables are turned. His wife is completely dependent on him, and now he is the one who is needed. But more importantly, he now gets to make her feel the way that he's felt the entire marriage. To me, that is truly the source of his public display of rage. Now he gets to, make her, display her powerlessness, show her invisibility, and honestly, humiliate her. His resentment of B. Smith is so smothered in rage that he's blinded by it. And of course, we see him, us women, we see him as an old fool. But in his mind, this is his last chance at being the man he always dreamed he could be, with an opportunist by his side to defend his indefensible actions. So for Dan, he doesn't have to swallow his tongue anymore. No more tucking his tail between his legs. No more playing the background. No more being in the shadows of his wife, whose success has made him feel as tall as an inch. And more importantly, no more being a Mr. B. Smith, Dan Gasby now gets the chance to lead. He gets the chance to be the hero who's riding with his wife to the end, no matter how it may look right now. With his mistress by his side, big pimpin', and he gets to impress the woman he's with because now he's the one bringing the bacon to the table. He's the one who gets to court and wine and dine and relish in the dance of being able to flatter and impress his woman with his stature. It doesn't matter that it's B's money. What matters is that now, in all of his delusion, he can be with the best woman. In his mind, she is the best woman, Alex Lerner, I think that's her name, that he can find in his whitewashed bourgeoisie mind and feel like the hero. So that is why, after a year and a half of being in a relationship with this opportunist, he's calling her the love of his life, you know, which is such a smack in the face to the 27 years that he spent being married to B. Smith. To me, in translation, that means, I'm getting all the sex I want. I'm in the driver's seat. I feel masculine. I feel like a man. I'm the boss. I'm calling the shots. And the woman that I'm with is paying deference to me and giving me her feminine the feminine response that I've always craved. So that's how deep this old fool's delusion is. He has no shame because in his mind it's now or never, and it's his time to shine. For 27 years he played the background and felt the torment of being in the shadows of B. Smith's success. B. Smith got all of the credit. She got all of the accolades. She got the magazine covers. She got all of the recognition. So while Dan had to suck it up and accept that he would never get the respect and power, in his marriage, that all men pretty much desire, especially as husband, he wanted that respect and he didn't get it, for whatever reason, but, men want respect. Respect is so important to men. So, they want sex, of course, and they are driven to get sex, but respect is their first love and first love language, and the only love language that truly matters to them. And honestly, ladies, I need to really drill this point that will never change. Respect is numero uno for a man in preserving his pride, preserving his ego, and he will pretty much go to any lengths to protect it. So, hypergamous wise, let's let the unfortunate tragedy of B. Smith's story teach us women a valuable lesson. That in relationships, no, not only does money matter, but who has the money matters. Who has the resources matter. Power dynamics matter. And, that masculinity is fragile. Men, in spite of what they say, do not want to be co-pilots in relationships with women. They don't want 50-50, and they certainly do not want our help. We need to understand that it is not our job to fix a man. It is not our job to throw him a bone or to make him our plus ones. It is not our job to write his resume or to give him a handout. And we also have to realize that having sex with a man or marrying a man will not turn him into a driven or ambitious provider, and more importantly, you cannot give him the husband of title when he lacks the ability to lead. He will seethe, he will hate you, he will resent you, and he will make you pay for his insecurity and his inadequacies. So remember, ladies, a man is at his best when providing and protecting for his family. Clearly, Dan Gasby never had the opportunity to do so. Whether it's for a family of two, three with his biological daughter, or a family of 10. Anything less, ladies, accepting that was pretty much accepting a man at his worst when he cannot provide or be in the driver's seat. So, and it isn't good for him, and it isn't good for you when he cannot take on that position of leadership. Both of you will be affected greatly. So, when he lacks the ability to impress you, be the hero, all hell is going to break loose and it will be your hell to endure. So Dan's story is no different from the hood dude who drives around in your car while you're at work, or the man who comfortably asks you for money, or the man that sneaks money out of your purse while you're asleep, or the man who constantly cheats. A disempowered man is a child and will pretty much stop at nothing to recuperate some semblance of masculinity. And when you truly understand, ladies, and I think that's what's at the heart of this, we need to understand that in hypergamy, you'll never be shocked or surprised when stories like this continue to come out and rear their ugly heads. I mean, look at Jill Scott, Mary J. Blige, and now Wendy Williams, who is currently having her entire world turned upside down by her philandering and abusive husband. And these are all successful bread-winning women who married men who they essentially had dominion over. I think what's important here is to get the lessons. The cautionary tales are here to teach us so that the next generation of young women and girls can make a better choice. We need to usher in and mainstream, honestly, the idea that it's okay to make a hypergamous choice. That strategy over struggle, is how you win at love and marriage. That a hypergamous life is the best choice for both men and women. So, I know we love love and, attraction is very important for us in romance. but respect, ladies, will always be a man's number one love language. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you for listening to me with this. This Dan Gatsby situation has been eye opening and pretty much necessary for women to witness. Dan Gatsby and the opportunistic whore Alex Lerner, they're both hot piles of steaming trash for their actions, and but let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will catch up with you in the next video.